Hopefully we can keep a couple more hooked. Oh gosh, there's one that just smoked it. There he is, got it. That's a better one.
What's happening, fishing friends? Welcome to another episode. You know, lately I've had a lot of questions on the budget setup that I use for my ultralight fishing. I've been doing a good amount of trout fishing with this, but you know, something like this you could use for bluegill, panfish, crappie, perch, heck, even those little DEBO dinks. Little tiny bass would be fun on this. So I'll go over this combo and exactly how I have the whole thing set up. I'm also going to discuss a few of the tools and things to bring along that are handy if you're fishing for trout or even panfish. And finally, I'll take you on my most recent trip where I used this, a little $1 inline spinner from Walmart, to see if I could find any fish on it. So enough of that talk, let's go over the combo. All right, so let's start out with the reel. I've had a lot of people ask about that reel. It's kind of got a cool gold and purple color changing paint on it. That happens to be the Daiwa RG 2000 size. So it's a little 2000 size spinning reel. I'm not a fan of the little tiny 500 size. You know, especially if you run mono or anything like that, that little tiny spool, it can be a headache to try and cast stuff off, line memory, all that. So I like a little bit bigger reel, and a lighter reel is even better. I know if you go over and check out Tackle Advisor's channel, he does some reviews on spinning reels and such like this for trout fishing. He's got a different did I just say Iowa? Different Daiwa reel that he recommends. It's a real light one. I forget what it is, but I'll link that down below. For me, this one's done well. I don't know if any of you out there have used this for, you know, trout fishing or anything, but so far it casts really well. It's smooth. I got this on sale over at Gander Outdoors for, I believe, $30. So, you know, not an expensive reel either, and I like it. Now, speaking of not very expensive, the rod I've been using is the Garcia Vigilante. That is the 2.0 version. This one I got at Walmart for like $28, I think. So again, not very expensive combo. Altogether, you're looking at, carry the one, add two, $58 for the rod and reel combo. Not bad. Considering some of those fly fishing setups I see guys use, those are like $2,000, $3,000 combos. I can't afford that. So this rod has worked well, and this isn't even an ultralight rod. This is just a light power rod. 1/16 to 5/16 ounce lures is what it's rated for. It's only a 5'6" rod, which is great. You know, when I'm doing bank fishing and in amongst the trees and stuff, oftentimes I have very little room to cast. But with a shorter rod like this, you can't get as long of a cast. However, the line has really helped with that. So if you are looking for a rod, you know, bank fishing, you want to get a little bit more distance, you could bump up to something a little bit bigger and a little bit lighter power, something that's a little softer so you can load those lighter lures up easier. Now for the line I've been using on here, this has helped with the cast. This stuff casts really well. It's the Berkley NanoFil. Now I thought this was a braid. They say it's actually a unifilament, so it's still Dyneema fibers, but apparently it's like the way it's spun or something is different. I don't know. It feels like braid. It doesn't have stretch, just like braid, and it's extremely sensitive. So far I've liked it. I do notice, again, like I said, that sometimes it kind of gets those little frayed looking pieces. So I don't know, if you all have used this out there, let me know, but I know a very small diameter braid is extremely important in casting these lighter lures. And with this little 1/16 ounce, just an inline spinner, I've been able to zing this thing out there quite a ways. I know when I was out with Nate, he was using 6-pound monofilament with a 1/8 ounce spinner. He's like, how the heck are you casting that so far? So that's what it is right there, that NanoFil. Now moving over to the lure setup that I've been using, you can see there I put a little small swivel in front of that. That's a little size 10 swivel. I'll show you that package here in just a second. In front of that, I put a little snap and then connected that to my inline spinner so I'm not gonna get that awful wicked line twist. All right, quick rundown of the gear that I bring with me. Number one, the most recent thing I got was a net. You know, trout are pretty fragile little things, and if you're doing catch and release, especially on native trout, people are big on having a net so you're not having to handle them. They're not as hardy as a largemouth bass, so I did get one of these, and it's nice for landing the fish. You know, you don't have to handle them and such, so net's been a good investment. And it also does come with a little carabiner there. Clip that onto your pants, and it's got a little magnet here. It's a strong magnet. But you just hook that onto your pants, and then when you're done with it, click that on, and you can walk around. You look really professional with one of these on. People think you're a trout guide. I'm kidding, people don't think that. They just think you're a dummy with a net on your belt. Okay, the fanny pack that I've been using. Yes, that is a tactical fanny pack, therefore I do not believe it violates the man code. Inside of this, I just keep a few things. So my leader material, I did forget to say that. Come on, Debo, get your act together. In front of that 4-pound NanoFil, I was using this. This is just some 4-pound monofilament spider wire. And to connect that, I've tied just a little Alberto knot. It's very small, comes through the guides easy, you can cast with it, and it's extremely strong knot. As you saw in a video not too long ago, 4-pound NanoFil to 4-pound leader, and I drug a whole tree in. I thought my rod and or line was going to snap. It didn't, so I was pretty amazed. You can see there quite a bit of room in this little fanny pack. You can bring a bunch in there. It's also got some pockets on front of it. What else do I bring in here? Little rooster tail starter pack. I got that from Gander for super cheap. You can see there, it's got a whole bunch of assorted rooster tails, and I just added some extra to it. But those pin minnows, jerk baits, didn't catch anything on those. Some little cranks here. A rattle trap, I did catch something on that. But the inline spinners have been the big thing. I think I could throw that and catch something on it. Don't you love how they find a way to just mangle together? 1/8 ounce, 16th ounce, but just kind of got a little variety of lures in here, and that's the little thing that I bought, and I threw them in there. Got some other little jigs, some mini mites, haven't used those yet, but you know, some little soft plastics that you could jig on the bottom just to give a different look from the spinner. I keep a few terminal tackle items in here, some little small number 10 mosquito hooks, some itsy bitsy little weights, so if you're drifting some lures, you know, like a trout ball or some other stuff I'll show you here in a second, that little itsy bitsy weight will help keep it on the bottom so it flows. Some little tiny split rings in case I need them. Those are the swivels I was using. That's a number 10. They're itsy bitsy tiny little swivels there. I wanted to keep it small as I could. Those worked well. That's the snap I was using, size 00, rated for 30 pounds. So that's more than enough. They probably make these smaller. I don't know. I just had a pack of these, so I used them and it worked. I also keep a pair of hemostats, you know, just little tiny forceps to get inside those little trout and panfish mouths. They're tiny and dainty. If you have a big, huge pair of pliers, good chance you're going to bust their whole mouth open. So just a little tiny pair of these. Also have a pair of split ring pliers. Those do have the little pliers on front there, so you could use them in emergency if you needed to. And it's got the braid cutter, so you can cut your line with those. Also a hook sharpener. A hook sharpener like that is great to have. I hadn't used them in quite some time, but for those little tiny trout baits, you know, you get it stuck on a couple trees, and it's real easy to bend those little tiny hooks over. And, you know, just the tip of it, I mean, so it's not sharp anymore. Use that hook sharpener. Sharpen it up. Get on with it, Debo. We want to see some fishing. All right, what else do I have in here? Some power eggs. Haven't got to use those yet, but I know people have a lot of luck on them. And some honey worms. These were the first things I had success with up in the natural streams up north. They stay unfrozen all year long, and those fish are extremely spooky. Any sort of movement, they're gone. It's real shallow, really clear water. Brady and I, he was the first one to take me up there and got me hooked on trout fishing. We were trying inline spinners and such, and they wanted nothing to do with those. So a very natural, slow presentation, you know, casting with the current and letting it go down. That's the only thing we're getting bit on. But enough of that. That's the combo. That's the gear. Well, speaking of gear, that was the focus of today. That's the little lure I picked up from Walmart. You know, you've got a budget set up. Do you need to go out and get a bunch of expensive inline spinners? No, I've been fishing for some stock trout around here. Talked to a number of people that didn't have luck on them. Some people said they were using live bait and had luck. But for me, the big deal has been these little inline spinners. So got one of these, put it to the test, and the footage come up to see if I could catch anything. Lo and behold, I did.
All right, fishing friends. Well, it's a little bit different than the last time we were out here. We've got a whole bunch of ice on that side of the lake that I fished before. I'm gonna try something new today. I'm gonna try these little flu things. Let's see if we can get any of these old trout to hit this thing. I don't see anything jumping or splashing over here. Last time we had to follow where they were feeding, so. All right, I'm not seeing any sort of activity. Let's move. All right, I made a slight spot move. This is where I was the other day with Nate. Let's see if we can find any over here. I'm thinking this water over here is a little bit calmer. It's pushed back in this pocket a little bit. There's that infamous huge tree that I pulled in with my 4-pound line. Still blows me away that I was able to pull that whole log. Look how big that thing is. Whole tree, 4-pound line. Anyway, we're not here to catch trees. We're here to catch trout. I have not done any of that yet. Been about 30 minutes, hit a couple spots. So far, not even a single nibble on this little flu jig. Maybe that'll change. Maybe I need to go back to the spinners. I got some little $1 inline spinners from Walmart to try too. Maybe we'll try those. Maybe we'll see if those work as well as the old rooster tails. All right, folks, there it is. I switched over to that little $1 spinner from Walmart. There's a little box of $1 spinners I saw the other day. So picked up a couple. I don't know. Let's see if this gets anything for 30 or 40 minutes or so. I tried that little flu jig and not a single thing on it. Be interesting to see if this little $1 spinner saves the day. Thing doesn't seem real consistent on its spinning. Yeah, it's not even spinning. It's unfortunate. It's very inconsistent with its spinning. That was a bite. That's funny. Third cast. I think that was a bite anyway. Maybe I hit a stick. Third cast. Switching up to the little inline spinner. I already had a bite, I think. We'll confirm it when we actually catch one here, but that was a stick. Maybe it was a stick before too. Now it's swimming all wonky. Come on, spinner, you've got one job. Spin in the water. Catch fish. Let's get with the program. There we go. All right, look at that. Fourth, maybe fifth cast, switching to the inline spinner, and we got one. That's really interesting. I fished this same spot here for I don't know how long. Stay out of that crud over there. With that little flu jig and nothing. Stay off the wood. There we go. It's a trout, all right. Oh, yes, all right. Well, apparently that's the deal. These trout love inline spinners. Not so much on the flu jigs. Even the $1 spinner they like. All right, now, see if I can just leave this guy in here. Get this out. All right, there we go. First one of the day. That's a pretty good size one too. Decent sized trout for here. And look at this. Got the old net. Try not to get my hands wet. Does he know he's out? There he goes. Awesome. All right, well, how flippin' interesting is this? The little $1 spinner is what gets me a bite. And I fished this spot for I don't know how long. Tried throwing, not a single thing. Fourth or fifth cast with this spinner and get one. Yeah, the spinner on this thing is not consistent. That's one thing I've noticed over the rooster tail. Spinner on this thing kind of sucks. Hopefully we can keep a couple more hooked. Oh gosh, there's one that just smoked it. God, that's why this is fun. Little tiny ultralight rig and these things are just hammering it. There's another bite. There he is, got it. That's a better one, hooked on a log. Whoa, 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 whoa. Got him, all right. That's a good sized one. We'll take that. The old $1 spinner base. The old $1 trout spinner saving me. Now I crimped these little things here. Let's see if that helps. Hopefully I can catch and release them a little bit easier. Whoa, when they don't go crazy. Try holding them in the net like this. Oh, he might have thrown. Okay, yeah, nice. He already unhooked himself. Pinch those little barbs on that. Whoa, 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 stop. All these trout act like they ate a whole pack of Oreos before I catch them. All right, there we go. That's nice. That hook came right out. That's a good sized trout. Pretty one too. All right, here we go. Didn't have to touch him. There he goes. He's off. Nice. All right, there we go. Well, having the net helps. Taking those barbs and crimping them down seems to help for catch and release. So thank all you fishing friends out there for giving me that advice. Being a trout fishing noob here. That guy didn't have to put my hands on him. Kept him in the net there. Whew, my hands are still cold though. All right, 2 on the day. Not too bad after I switched that $1 little inline spinner here. Getting some bites. That's nuts. I fished that little flu jig for 40 minutes. Nothing. Switched this little inline spinner and I started getting a bunch more bites and hits and all kinds of stuff and 2 fish. All right, switched over to a little tiny Bill Lewis rattle trap that I had. I don't know. Let's see if anything will eat this deal. We know they like the inline spinner. I don't know if they'll go after a rattle trap style profile. I have no clue. Oh, no way. Tree fish. I was caught on that tree. He got it. Tree fish on the rattle trap. That was bouncing over that thing. Is it a trout? Oh, all the way out of the water. That's a good sized one too. There we go. Another one on the day. That one came on a little rattle trap while it was stuck in a tree. Only on Debos fishing do you see trout fishing while they're stuck in a tree. Still catching them. All right, fish, hold still. All right, we'll figure this out here in a second. He's got my rattle trap stuck in the net, but look at that. That's a good sized one. That's a good sized trout. Look at that. Through the net, didn't have to grab him. Go, go. Off he goes. Cool. That was my biggest one of the day. That was a good sized trout. On that right there, the little Bill Lewis rattle trap. Had it stuck in a tree and popped it, and he grabbed it. Only on Debos fishing will you see that.